Hello and welcome back to our channel. My name is Alex and I'm the host of ADID System. And today I wanted to talk about how to support your friends with DID or OSDD. So to start, I'd say a good place to start with supporting your friend with DID or OSDD is to educate yourself on what the disorder is, all right? You can ask your friends, usually you can ask your friends questions and they'll answer, but some people really don't like that. We're perfectly okay with questions, like we'll answer them if people ask them, but it's there's a point where you need to just do your own research. We aren't here to be Google for you, but we can, also vet information that you've read. Like if you read something online and you're like, hey, is this true? We can tell you, because we're the ones actually living with it. But yeah, definitely educate yourself. Watch more videos like this on YouTube, of other systems explaining like alter roles, integration, fusion, switching, co-consciousness, all of that, because it's a very complex disorder, and the complexity of it, isn't a secret. If you're friends with someone with DID or OSDD, or they're your loved one or whatever, you should be aware of these things, especially like co-consciousness and switching, because that's kind of and like dissociative amnesia, because that's like one of the huge aspects of the disorder that's going to affect your relationship with them, whether you like that or not. So yeah, educate yourself, watch more videos like this. Number two would be, don't psychoanalyze your friends or loved ones with DID or OSDD. We aren't here to be like science projects or here to prove to you that we have the disorder that we have, because we live with it every day and it's a miserable disorder to live with. You can have a happy life with DID and OSDD, but it's not an easy thing to accomplish because it is such a all-encompassing disorder. Like it affects every area of your life. And so please do not psychoanalyze your DID and OSDD system loved ones or friends, because that will make them feel less valid and less safe. And we shouldn't have to prove to the person that we are trying to have a relationship with, a good relationship with, that we are real, and that we're valid, because we already suffer with that with enough people in this world. It's in the DSM. We shouldn't have to continuously prove to people that we're real, because I already went to enough therapists and psychiatrists to be like, maybe I'm not lying. Even though I constantly wish I was, I'm not. So please don't psychoanalyze us. Number three would be, treat people with DID and OSD gently. You don't have to treat us like we're going to like shatter any second, though sometimes it really be like that sometimes with splitting. But you can just understand that people with DID and OSDD have a complex trauma history, stemming back from when they were a kid. And like you have to have trauma to have this disorder. And so, you should treat people with PTSD, CPTSD, and therefore DID, and OSDD with gentleness and trauma informed. So make yourself informed about things like triggers, flashbacks, episodes, and just know the symptoms that trauma can bring along, because those symptoms are part of DID and OSDD. And we're not like every other person that you can just treat like like we're not like everyone else in the sense that we can handle everything that the world has to offer us. Some things will really, really trigger us and send us into a flashback, and you have to be able to understand that, yeah, we won't be able to do certain things because it could trigger us into a flashback or trigger an alter out. And that's just the way the disorder is, and it sucks, but that's the way it is. Next one is don't startle your DID and OSDD friends and loved ones. Don't startle them, especially when they're dissociating, because that can trigger an alter out into fight or flight mode, and that is very stressful and not ideal. It also can trigger a flashback, if they feel like they're about to be attacked. Just it goes back to the last one. You need to be trauma informed, and part of being trauma informed is being aware that you should not startle a person with severe trauma and PTSD, and therefore DID and OSDD. Next one is don't intentionally trigger your DID and OSDD friends and loved ones. This is just a terrible thing to do. Like, if you intentionally trigger someone out, it's really it's a really mean thing to do. Basically you are kicking someone out of the body and being like, I don't want to hang out with you right now. I want to hang out with someone else. That's very invalidating. That's very invalidating and just like terrible, because a part of the stress of this disorder is the fact that we don't constantly have control over our body, and we get that taken away from us sometimes. And so for someone who cares about us to intentionally cause that distress on us, it's terrible. And so, like, please don't do that. Just even if you like an alter more than the one that is fronting right now, that's just a part of being friends with the DID and OSDD system. It's not, you don't always get to hang out with your favorite alter, and you just have to accept that, and not trigger out your favorite alter, because it's not fair and it's not okay. Next one is treat alters like they're their own people, because we pretty much are our own people, aside from having our own bodies. We like different things, we like different music, we have different identities, sexualities, genders, pronouns, all of that. And so please respect all of that and treat them like they are their own people. Like, you have multiple friends instead of one friend. Because if you start treating, like, let's say you treat me, Alex, like I'm like Ace, that would be really annoying and stressful for me, because me and Ace are complete like opposites. For example, Ace really likes bugs. I really don't like bugs. So if you were to treat me like I'm Ace, and you were to casually like bring up bugs all the time and be like, oh, look at this cool bug, that would be not the nicest thing to do, first of all. And second of all, I would feel invalidated. And third of all, it would really upset me, and I'd probably not want to be your friend. And then lastly, all in all, just be respectful. Like, there is no reason to treat us like we are some, crazy person, like a monster, because people with DID and OSDD, we aren't monsters. We aren't going to hurt you. And it's just, there's so much stigma, and I'm here to say it's all bullshit. We are just really traumatized individuals that had really shitty stuff happen to us, and we don't deserve to be treated worse because of what happened to us. Be respectful, ask your questions, but be respectful about it. Don't say it in an accusatory manner. Just ask it in a way that doesn't make us feel invalid or like, in a negative light. For example, I had a friend ask us, how did you know about this if so-and-so was fronting? And it was said in a very accusatory way. And it's like, well, co-consciousness exists and system communication exists. It's not just always black and white, there's gray area. Like, yes, there is some alters that I have terrible communication with, and even when they're close to front with me, I can't tell what they're saying. Like, sometimes I'll get some feelings, maybe some images, but most of the time I won't get anything. And that's just communication that I need to work on. But in the case of this, it was me and Will, and me and Will have pretty good communication. Not as good as like me and Ace. Like me and Ace are integrated, which means that our dissociative amnesia barriers are down, and therefore we share memories. And me and Will aren't on that same level, but we still have really good communication. So he was co-con with me still. I had switched out, or I had switched in. He had switched out, and he was still co-con with me, and he was able to tell me, hey, I got us a cheese Danish. And so therefore I knew we got a cheese Danish because he told me, because I really love cheese Danishes. However, on the other hand, he didn't tell me about the coffee that we got. And so I didn't know that we got a coffee. So I was like, oh, to my friend, oh, you got a coffee. And they were like, yeah, it's a coffee, but how did you know about the cheese Danish and not the coffee? And it's just like co-consciousness, system communication. Will told me about the cheese Danish, but he didn't tell me about the coffee. And so, yeah, please just don't ask your system friends questions in accusatory ways, because it feels really crappy. So that's my list of ways to treat your DID and OSDD friends well, and how to be friends or have a relationship with a DID or OSDD system. I hope this helps, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Just like I said, be respectful about it. But I'd love to answer any questions you have. And thank you for watching. Have a great day. Drink some water, take your meds, and remember that you're loved.